All right, the General Laws Gaming Subcommittee is being called to order. First matter of business, just as I indicated earlier today, Senate Bill 780 is being passed by for the day. That is the casino gaming bill. And is there a motion to pass by for the day?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to pass Senate Bill 780 by for the day. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman,
Speaking to the motion, Senator Bell.
I know it's late, and I don't want to necessarily delay us, but I will bring this up. It has come to my attention just in the last couple of minutes. I apologize for not saying this. There are some people actually traveled to speak on that bill.
Okay.
And could we at least give them a couple minutes since they went to the trouble of coming here to speak? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. So procedurally, let me jump to roll call first, which I skipped over. So, clerk, go ahead.
Senator Roth. Senator Eben. Senator Donovan.
Here.
Senator Mason.
Here.
Senator Boysko.
Here.
Senator Pillion. Here. Senator Bell. Here. Senator McPike.
Here.
Senator Lott.
Present.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. If there are folks in the room that were here to speak to Senate Bill 780, could you raise your hand or identify? Okay. If you'd like to come up and share your thoughts, we'll be taking up additional testimony in subcommittee next week as well, but I appreciate you coming out tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, I work for. Can you hear? Good afternoon. My name is Alan Walker. I'm from Williamsburg, Virginia. I work for the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation there in Williamsburg, and I'm a member of the local United here 25, and we are here because we wanted to voice our opinion about the bill that's concerning the casinos that will be down toward Petersburg, possibly Portsmouth area there. And we think it's important that we here is able to them have a union because it has did so much for us in the community that we work in, and that is also part of our community. And so that would be our concern, is for them to have a peace agreement with.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Welcome.
Good afternoon, or evening. I'm Christina Combs. I don't actually live in Virginia, but I do have family that lives in Williamsburg area. I work at the Gaylord National Harbor, so adjacent to us is the MGM, which is a resort and casino as well. They just recently were organized with Local 25, and I'm organized at Local 25 as well through Gaylord. But in general, I think for the casinos that are opening up wherever they are, especially here in Virginia, they need to have a union because the workers deserve their rights to have, fair wages, respect on the job from the management. Sometimes you don't have a union. The workers feel like they don't have a voice, and sometimes they don't even get to use the restroom, or eat or anything like that. Health benefits, pension plans, all of the things that we would like to enjoy as we get older. We want to retire someday and have, a good life afterwards with, being able to survive, keep, food on our tables and a roof over our head, and we can't do that on $10 an hour. So if the casinos, they're billionaires, they can afford to give the workers, fair wages. But if they had a union, we can fight for those things and make sure that everybody gets to have a roof over their head and food on their tables and respect from the management. It's all we ask,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming. Yes, sir.
How y'all doing, everybody? I am Deontay Pulliam, and I'm with Local 23 here in Richmond, Virginia. I work on VCU campus. I work for Raising Cane's, and we literally just became a union 9 months ago. So I'm just here to let y'all know that with the casino possibly coming to Petersburg or Richmond, I feel like that they should have neutrality, just like we had neutrality to be able to build our union.
Great. Thank you. All right. Any other speakers? Okay. We will take up additional testimony next week when we schedule Senate Bill 780. First up, Senator Reeves. We'll have, and also, so you know, also on the docket was Senate Bill 1143, and that has been re-referred to rules.
Mr. Chairman, since the committee knows, do you want to tell them overall what we're doing with your bill so they have an idea, since you have Chairman Locke next to you? Does she know?
For
your bill rolling into the...
that's already, yeah.
Got it.
We're good.
I'm tracking,
for rules. Different committee.
Yep. Mr. Chairman, if we could take up SB 836. Mr. Chairman, 836 is the brainchild of myself and my colleague, Delegate Kresick. Based on what we've known as the numbers coming in, now that the Commonwealth has decided to go full force on gambling, and we've seen increases of 143% in calls to the gambling hotline where they have gambling addiction. I think in 2020 we had 335 calls, in 2022 816, and it significantly is growing. So what this does is it sets up this commission. That commission is made up of, let me get to the page. The problem gambling prevention coordinator from the department, a representative from the Virginia Council on Problem Gambling, one representative from each of the state agencies primarily responsible for regulating the lottery, casino gaming, sports betting, live horse racing with parimutuel wagering, historical horse racing, charitable gaming, and any other form of legal gaming permitted under the law, the executive director of the Community Services Board, a casino gaming operator, a sports betting permit holder, a historical racing operator, and a charitable gaming permit holder. The problem gambling prevention coordinator shall be the chairman of the advisory committee, and vice chairman shall be elected from among the designated members. And this sets this program up. There is a budget amendment before finance to support this, and we would ask that the bill would pass. We have talked to all the stakeholders. They are here to speak on behalf of the bill that they are supportive of it if they'd like to testify.
Thank you, Senator Reeves. Those in support of Senate Bill 836.
Matt Betke with the Virginia Charitable Bingo Association. We appreciate this bill and we fully support it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Others in support? Delegate Kresick, are you in support?
Absolutely.
All right. Delegate Kresick, welcome to the other side. Gives a thumbs up.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Bell.
Briefly, I'll just say that I think this is a great bill. The bill that just passed out of the Senate chamber unanimously that I did increases the membership on the what was formerly the Substance Abuse Commission and changed it to the Virginia Addiction Recovery Commission, and it adds 2 representatives from gambling. We've had several briefings on that. Gambling addiction is a growing problem. I think the future could hold the people from this body could be representatives to that. And I think this is a very worthwhile and needed action. Thank you.
Any opposition?
Second.
All right. There's a motion to report and a second. All in favor?
Senator Ruff, Senator Eben, Senator Donovan,
Yes.
Senator Mason, Senator Boysko, Senator Pillion,
Yes.
Senator Bell,
Yes.
Senator McPike, Senator Locke,
Yes.
Senator Reeves.
Aye.
Ayes 8, no 0.
Mr. Chairman, just to make sure I find the right bill here. If we could take up Senate Bill 1195. Mr. Chairman, this would set up a gaming regulatory fund to establish that. Right now, lottery is carrying the weight to to set up all the casinos. They also have to deal with what they deal with lottery, as well as online sports betting. And it's come to my attention through Kelly G over at Lottery that they need to have a separate fund because they can't have certain funds commingling with other funds. So the fees for each principal and additional investigation costs paid to the department shall be deposited in the gaming regulatory fund established pursuant to 58.14048. And so I didn't ask her where they were going prior to setting this fund up, but I think they need to have some certain funds no longer commingling. And she's here to talk about that.
Ms. G.
I am Kelly G., Director of the Lottery. I want to thank the patron for carrying this bill. It was a request of us. Right now, the licensing fees for casinos and sports betting that we use for regulatory oversight go into the same fund that we put casino tax revenue, which is dedicated to school construction. I liken this to just setting up a new savings account. I want a fund for my money, and you can have a fund for yours, and that's all it does.
Any opposition to piggy bank for Kelly G? All right, is the motion? Is the motion a second? Call the roll.
Senator Ruff, Senator Eben, Senator Donovan, Senator Mason, Senator Boysko, Senator Pillion, Senator Bell, Senator McPike, Senator Locke, Senator Reeves. Ayes 8, no 0.
All right, that bill recommends reporting. And next one, Senator Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next is Senate Bill 1209. That has to do with charitable gaming, temporary permits, limitations, also pull tabs. But I think we have some amendments, and if Ashley would like to reference the amendments so we can move those.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the amendments are actually in the form of a substitute, which should show up on LIS now or in the next few seconds. Basically, those amendments remove from the original bill references to network bingo, and they also, there's two sections in the bill, or two instances in the bill that reference the organization's conferences or conventions, and it just changes the language to say during a convention, conference, or related event held by such organization's affiliated state, regional, or national organization. That is the only change that is made in the substitute.
Mr. Chairman, speaking to the amendments in the bill as a whole, when we tightened up on charitable last year, we inadvertently tightened it a little tight on some of what I call there's two separate stakeholders, the VSOs, Veteran Service Organizations, as well as I call the animal kingdom, the moose, the elks, all of them. And so we needed to allow them the opportunity to do some of the things at their annual events, and that's pretty much what the bill does.
Questions for the patron? Those in the audience in support of the substitute on Senate Bill 1209, please come forward, state your name.
Matt Benko with the Virginia Charitable Bingo Association. Again, we support this bill. It's a good bill.
David Jones, Mr. Chairman, with the Virginia Moose Association, 83 moose lodges, 66,000 members in Virginia. We support the bill. The Virginia VFW, I don't represent them, but they couldn't be here today, and they asked that I would relay the support of the VFW, and the Virginia Elks asked for the same thing. So they asked me to relay that, and I have letters and to indicate that I'll hand over. But thank you to Senator Reeves and Delegate Krizik.
Thanks. Any opposition? Is there a motion?
Move to report.
There's a motion to report and a second to report the substitute. Open the roll.
Senator Ruff, Senator Eben, Senator Donovan, Senator Mason, Senator Boysko, Senator Pillion? Yes. Senator Bell? Yes. Senator McPike? Senator Locke? Senator Reeves?
Aye.
Ayes 8, no 0.
You're on a roll.
All right, Mr. Chairman, the last one shouldn't be too contentious. It's Senate Bill 1212. Mr. Chairman, as you and I have talked about historical horse racing, there was an original deal struck when we decided to give Rosie's and HHR a certain allotment of slot machines. And along with those slot machines came a certain number of race days that had to go along with those race days. And we wanted to make sure that we were going to get the amount of race days of live races that most of the people who go to the races get that opportunity to see them. And so what this bill simply does is it provides that the Virginia Racing Commission will properly promulgate the live racing terminal to terminal ratio of 1 day per 100 terminals. It also allows for the cancellation of races. That's an amendment. I think we gotta pass the amendment. Amendment nature substitute. Mr. Chairman, may we get the substitute before the committee?
Motion to adopt the substitute.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Substitute is properly before us.
The substitute we had to put in there at the request of the administration and the Racing Commission that we put a force majeure. In other words, acts of God came up where they couldn't do a racing day because of a tornado or inclement weather or too hot or anything else that, you know, if it could harm horses or people, that they needed to be able to cancel those race days. It'll provide that the original HHR agreement is upheld, as the focus should be on live races, not just casino facilities. And I know, Mr. Chairman, as we talked, you had a request of me, and I'm willing to put something in here if council's listening. Ashley.
Yes, Senator.
We would like to put something in there because typically the race days are Monday through Friday and none on the weekends. And the chairman is requesting, and I agree with him, along with my colleague from the House, that at least one weekend or one Saturday should be played as part of those race days. And that would be an amendment that, if you could draft it up and put it in there, I would move it. You're still good with that, right? Yeah.
Senator Reeves, and I'll comment to that. I know that was a complaint that I recall hearing, that many of the races are actually run on like a Tuesday.
Correct.
And not a lot of people, the whole point of this whole structure was to promote the equine industry. And yet, not a lot of people can take off work on a Tuesday to go see and enjoy, right, should they choose to. And so, you know, hopefully we get some structure around it. I don't know if it's one. I understand they run during fair weather and summer. You know, if it's one or two or
and
some
Mr.
sort of
Chairman,
structure,
this would just say at a minimum they have to do one. They certainly could do more depending on what they would want to do.
Is there a motion to adopt the amendment to the substitute?
Second.
This motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Substitute is amended.
Mr. Chairman, I do have Dave Lamont here, who is infinitely tied to HHR to speak about this bill if he so desires.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I would just like to very much thank Senator Reeves for the amendment. Our concern was that we needed a little bit of leeway, as he said, a tornado, a hurricane, something would make the track unsafe. So we just, again, I would just thank Senator Reeves very much for adding that language.
Thank you. Others, any opposition? You'd like to come up and speak in opposition? All right, just checking. Those in support?
My name is Frank Petramalo. I'm with the Virginia Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association. On behalf of our membership who race at Colonial Downs, we support the legislation and we thank the Senator very much.
Thank you. Comments from the committee? Questions? Senator Bell.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's a good bill, and frankly, we have been pretty lax on this. We had a lot of debate about this a few years ago, and I was leading, I know when I was in the House, about making sure we had a racing days tied to machines to really help the equine industry. And then we appropriately backed off of that with COVID. And I think, according to, I agree with Senator Reeves, it's time to go back there. And frankly, if we want to make sure that we invest and protect our historic heritage in the equine industry, this needs to be done. And I strongly support the legislation.
It sounds like a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved, yeah.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report. Open the roll.
Senator Ruff, Senator Eben, Senator Donovan, Senator Mason,
Aye.
Senator Boysko,
Yep.
Senator Pillion, Senator Bell,
Aye.
Senator McPike, Senator Locke, Senator Reeves.
Aye.
Ayes 8, no 0.
All right, that bill is recommended for reporting. Senator Obenshain, Senate Bill 1235.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, let me tell you what this bill is not. This bill is not an exemption. It doesn't exempt anybody from any requirements. This bill came to me because I represent a portion of rural Virginia. We have rural volunteer fire departments, volunteer rescue squads that are stretched for manpower, stretched for financial resources, stretched for virtually everything. And we have this, I think, relatively unique feature in rural Virginia, or at least in the Shenandoah Valley. We have lawn parties that are put on by the volunteer rescue squads and volunteer fire departments. And one of the things that they do is they do bingo. And these are for like a week a year, or maybe 2 weeks a year. And under the legislation that was passed, these small events that are put on put a really significant burden on the personnel of these fire companies who are running call, who are doing in-services, who are doing training, who are doing fundraising, who are raising families and working jobs. And they one of the volunteer rescue squads came to me and said, we just don't have the resources to fill out these 40-page forms and provide all of the information. It's like filing a Reg D filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And as a result, they asked for some relief, not an exemption. And what this bill does is it's something we worked with VDAX on to try and develop a short form for these occasional events, less than 14 days, less than $40,000. And if you look at the bill in lines 49 through 65, it shows that they are still being asked to, or required to provide the basic information about the event, about the organization, provide their tax-exempt status and letter, provide details about where the event's going to be held, who the responsible person is, and they are subject to audit by VDAX at any time. And so this simply provides a short form for them. I don't know why, frankly, I don't know why on the long form anybody's required to provide their 990. You can go online and find that anyway. But this just makes it a little bit easier for them to continue to raise money at these lawn parties and county fairs. And I think that VDAX, as I I learned as I was coming in here, they may have some technical amendments. My understanding is that they were technical, that they were going to ask for. I don't know what they are.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question?
Senator Boyce-Gill.
Thank you. So, Senator Obenshain, when I'm looking at this, and perhaps maybe it's defined in the code that is referenced, but there's nothing that I'm seeing that's saying what type of organization. Does it have to be it just says no organization. Can we clarify that, or?
Well, if you look down in 18.2.340.24:1 on line 52, they do have to submit proof of the organization's nonprofit status, and that proof is typically a letter from the Internal Revenue Service, and I forget what the form is to secure your nonprofit status. Delegate Krizek is here, who could probably whisper in my ear, but it is not an unburdensome process.
Senator Reeves.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Obenshain, I think you have a lifeline to your right that will talk about the amendment that they want to put forward. And I spoke with Delegate Krizek, and I am in agreement with him as far as the forms and how we can get there. And I think we're both good with cracking it back open under the constraints that Mr. Menifee and the folks at VDAC can draft that with Mr. Slabaugh.
Actually, they had shared a draft form with me several weeks ago, which was making progress. I still question why they need copies of 990s and things like that.
Parker.
Mr. Slabaugh, you want to step up and explain what you're doing?
Come on.
Sure. Well, first, let me just start by saying, Parker Slabaugh, the governor's office, we very much support what the senator is doing here and giving these small organizations a better, easier opportunity to raise money for the good causes that they do. We do have Mike Menifee with VDAX here, who can kind of explain some of the technical amendments we think that can better help with implementation and still striving to keep the spirit of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Mike Menifee with VDAX. One of the technical amendments that we were looking at is just a clarification that the cap that's in there for these registrations is a hard $40,000 cap. There's a provision in there that allows them to exceed 40,000 in gross receipts up to 2 years. Certainly, our amendment will be just to make it a hard $40,000 cap, and then if they need to breach that, then they need to go ahead and get a permit. And there's some clarification with regards to the registration in terms of if we find an organization that's obtains a registration, sends the registration form in, and then we discover that they're going to conduct bingo in a bar, then there's going to be a mechanism that we can at least try to address that with the organization so they don't unpurposely violate the law.
Yeah. I don't think we disagree. The second aspect is fine. The first, the way this bill is drafted, if that volunteer fire company raises $41,000 in year one, they have to go through the process of doing the long form as a result of getting $41,000. And as drafted, they could come back and do the short form again the next year. But if 2 years in a row they raise $41,000, they're ineligible to ever file a short form for the following years. So, I think we're after the same thing, and I think this provides a little bit of margin for error and safeguards in that if they exceed that, they are absolutely required under this code section to complete the long form.
Any other questions from the committee before we all right, let's open up for support for the bill.
Matt Benke with the Virginia Charitable Bingo Association. The forms for these things can be onerous. And I think this is a great stopgap measure for charities that are fairly small, doing small games, until we get to a new organization, which we are all hoping and praying for. So another organization that will have more regulation, appropriate regulation. So I think this is a great, great stopgap measure.
Thank you. Those in opposition? All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to pass the bill in theory as we get the amendments in, so it goes to full committee with what we've explained would be the changes. If Senator Obenshain's amenable to that.
Yeah.
With recommendations.
We can move it without recommendation at this point until we see the amendments.
Okay.
If that's
Fine.
Move to report. Just move it without recommendation back
Sure.
to full, until we see the full committee. And Senator Obenshain, I think with that, real quick, I think we're going to be fairly cautious because we've been, obviously this committee and subcommittee have been dealing with a lot, and clearly because we have 3 attorneys, by the way, who've done a fantastic job for this subcommittee. 3 attorneys trying to track down and chase down a lot of proliferation, a lot of different issues that have arisen, and so I would
That's
just.
because you don't have enough attorneys on the committee.
So, all right, there's a motion to move forward with full with no recommendation at this point. All in favor, voice vote, say aye. Aye.
So I guess I need to come.
Work on it.
Thank you.
Work on it. All right, that, council, that completes our agenda, and the committee will rise.